It's a beautiful thing, man. Music is a beautiful thing. All right. Music is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, baby. It's a beautiful thing. Let me tell you something about music. It's beautiful. All right. Ah, God. All right, let's do it.
Mac Miller is an artist I've grown to love this past year. While I've only recently delved into his discography, his music already moves me in a way very few artists can. With every new project, he seemed to evolve and grow as a musician. The Divine Feminine showed his ability to make more mainstream-friendly music, with an emphasis on a brighter production.
How many mistakes do it take till you leave? When I'm left with my hand and my face all red and the face looking at you like, wait, I know I ain't a saint.
Swimming marked a new sound and deeper, more introspective lyricism.
I was thinking too much, got stuck in oblivion, oblivion, oblivion,
But it's his 2020 release, Circles, where he's at his most vulnerable, building off his previous project as he delves into his struggles in his everyday life as a celebrity and crucially, as a human being. The significance and subject matter of the album become ever more apparent when acknowledging his unfortunate passing in 2018, just a little over a month after Swimming's release. Mac suffered from a drug addiction, which ultimately led to his untimely death. His life as a public figure heightened his loneliness and depression, turning to substance abuse to cope with them. He found it difficult maintaining relationships because of these issues, notably with pop star Ariana Grande. His passing acts as a tragic reminder of the unfortunate drug issues, the loneliness epidemic in America, and, as individuals, our struggles in navigating our lives. I'm often reminded of the cruel circumstances of life each and every day, whether it be finding myself alone in a room full of people or pretending I'm okay when I'm not. These feelings overwhelm me, and they always put me in a depressive state of mind. My motivations weaken as I find myself lying in bed for hours scrolling through my social media feed. It's an awful thing to feel, and no matter how hard I try to rectify these pains, they never seem to truly go away. I may be able to suppress them, but they still linger within me. With Circles, these struggles are amplified, as Mac discusses how these emotions are often repeated in our lives in a seemingly never-ending cycle. The opening track, Circles, starts with a melancholic E major chord, carrying this mood for the duration of the song. While the production may be understated and almost relaxing, the lyricism isn't, opening with the line,
well, this is what it looked like right before you fall.
Mac finds himself at the beginning of his recovery and can't seem to get better, singing,
I cannot be changed, I cannot be changed, no. Trust me, I've tried. I'd stand up right at the start of the line, drawing circles.
No matter how hard he tries to find peace in his life, it never seems to last, which helps explain the motif of the album. The idea that our lives are looping in a continuous circle. These daily complications worsen our decision-making and cloud our judgments. While we try to act on the future, maybe the best course of action is to take things a day at a time.
Some people say they want to live forever. That's way too long, I'll just get through the day.
Mac, on Complicated, argues that we need to have those small victories to spur our recovery before we can make those drastic improvements in our lives. Once we can get through days without any complications, we can turn these days into weeks, months, years, decades of serenity. As Mac finds small victories in his recovery, his perspective begins to shift. This new sense of direction seems to evolve into a newfound optimism, where in Blue Worlds he recognizes how the devil tempts him to return to his vices, but in his own words,
don't trip, we don't gotta let him in, don't trip.
He fights his addictions and calls to attention his purpose in life, which is to make music, specifically music that'll make it all better. It's this kind of selflessness that I wish for, the ability to make the people around me happier and better. In the end, he tells us things will work themselves out and to never stop being ourselves.
Hey, one of these days we'll all get by. Don't be afraid, don't fall in line.
However, while we believe he'll find the help he needs to truly get better, this hope is fleeting as Mac finds himself at a stalemate in Good News, regressing into the same depressive mood at the start of the album. It's upsetting to hear him in this aimless, dark episode, not because we don't understand, but because we do. Recovery from an addiction or illness is never a linear progression. There'll always be certain bumps in the road that'll set you back. With mental issues, so much as the question, "Are you okay?" can bring people to tears. So many of the lyrics speak to this experience of overwhelming sadness.
I spent the whole day in my head. Do a little spring cleaning. Can I get a break? I wish that I could just get out my goddamn way. What is there to say? Good news, good news, good news. That's all they wanna hear. No, they don't like it when I'm done. So tired of being so tired.
It paints a vivid image of being trapped in a room full of your own insecurities and pains. The direction and optimism he felt in the previous two songs are completely eclipsed by this despair. It's in Everybody where Mac puts his pain into a new light. Everybody's going to die, but everyone's going to live. So why can't we all have a good time while we can? Times can be very, very rough, but they can also be really, really good. The point is, with good moments comes bad ones. It's an undeniable fact of life. Before this, Mac saw these two sides as disconnected, when in reality, they're not mutually exclusive. Amidst his darkness is a hope and opportunity for a true recovery, as he finally sees the good in things.
Stop blind man standing on the corner, baby. And he couldn't hardly tie his shoes. Harmonica and guitar strapped around his neck. But he sure could play the blues.
There's a beauty in life that makes it worth living. Within these struggles is a place of comfort and clarity. Within this raging storm is a calm center with a clear blue sky. Within this barren, dry desert is a lush, green paradise of salvation. In the darkness he finds himself in, the unconditionality of love pulls him out. In Hand-Me-Downs, Mac paints a beautiful image of staying at a lakeside home with his lover, watching the reflection of the sun on the water's surface. Although he still struggles to find relief, the person he loves keeps him sane, with Baro Sura singing the chorus.
Remind me, shit, I need to stay in line. You damn well are a great design. Hey, you, despite being an only child, say you need more of a family around. Let's turn these jeans into hand-me-down.
This relationship gives him the energy to push through his hardships, the electrolytes to help him go the distance. It's a beautiful reminder of the power of love and how that person's love can change the entire trajectory of someone's life. It's at this point Mac changes his stance, offering the listener advice to redirect us to a safer, more peaceful path. He acknowledges all the conflicts in his life are on him, that it's his actions that's led him to this life. It may feel a bit harsh, but it's the truth, and Mac knows this. He knows others feel this, and in light of it, he offers us a helping hand.
I know nobody that knows where we're going at all.
Despite his own sufferings, he still finds the courage, the strength to prop us up, give us the motivation to move on and better ourselves. It feels he's finally come to fully accept all his problems, as he finally learns to let go of his pains and insecurities and sees the hope within them. He no longer stays in his inner turmoil, he now only dwells in it momentarily. Similarly to hand-me-downs, he talks about his lover and the optimism he gets from them in the song Surf. The affection he feels separates them from the world, flying in the clouds completely unbothered, freeing himself from his worries and doubts. In Swimming, he mentions drowning in his sorrow, bleakly symbolizing water as this destructive factor in his life. But here, it offers a form of life and prosperity.
Until we get home, there's water in the flowers, let's grow.
In a sea of people, he initially feels alone and isolated, but he knows there's a person who'll save him, a person he can call home. It feels like, at last, he's found his place in the world. He's finally at peace. With the concluding track, Once a Day, Mac finds himself in a similar state of mind as in Circles, as he further reflects on the daily life of not just himself, but of others. He questions why we, as a society, aren't taking things slower, why we always seem to rush and overcomplicate things. He asks if the people in his life really cared about him and wonders if they can look at their own reflection without turning away in shame. It may feel like he's regressed back to this depressive state, but it's through this hopelessness he offers words of wisdom to us.
Don't keep it all in your head. The only place that you know nobody ever can see. You running low on regret, no tears that's keeping you wet. I think you're getting it now.
He acknowledges how shelling up his emotions was what led him down his destructive life and cautions the listener to learn from his mistakes. It's tragic to know he learned this too late in his life, but it gives us that reassurance to pursue our own journey of self-improvement, to let go of our insecurities, to truly become free from our shackles. With an unstable, inconclusive A Og7 chord, we return to the start of the album, coming full circle, creating a perfect musical loop. It reminds us of the fragility of life, how it moves in a constant circle. We can't erase the dark parts of our lives, but we can learn to accept them. We can build off them to become better people, to understand ourselves and others on a deeper, more personal level, to truly become the best versions of ourselves. As a final message, I want to say this. Thank you, Mac, for being you. Your music has inspired me and millions of others around the world to strive for a better, more peaceful world. You pushed us when you yourself were struggling, and for that, I am eternally grateful. I hope you found the peace you needed. Rest easy, and until we meet again.